This is iFIBER 1 News. Here are today's top stories.
The Moses Lake City Council is expected to discuss reinserting the fine portion of its ban on camping in open public spaces.
If certain state lawmakers have their way, then you might soon be getting taxed on the number of miles you drive every year.
Last season, the Moses Lake Chiefs baseball team was one inning away from placing in state. The Moses Lake Chiefs softball team was able to sweep Eisenhower on Wednesday, so when it came to Friday's doubleheader with the West Valley of Yakima Rams, the Chiefs only needed to win one game to take the conference title.
From the iFIBER 1 newsroom, this is iFIBER 1 News, and it starts now.
The Moses Lake City Council is expected to discuss reinserting the fine portion of its ban on camping in open public spaces. The council previously banned camping between 6 a.m. and 10 p.m. in open public spaces, but the council removed a portion of the ordinance that would have allowed for civil infractions to be issued to violators. Moses Lake Police Chief Kevin Fuhr said without any enforcement penalty, the city has no way to force homeless campers to relocate. The city council requested the penalties for violations section be brought back at their meeting on Tuesday, with staff requesting that the section be reinserted into the ordinance. A federal circuit court ruled in the Boise decision that cities could not have criminal penalties for camping law violations. Moses Lake's proposed fine would allow officers to issue a civil penalty which would not violate the court's decision. The council is expected to vote on the proposal during Tuesday's meeting, and if the proposal is not approved, the city will continue to not enforce the prohibition on camping in public spaces. This is Joe Utter for iFIBER 1 News.
This segment is brought to you by
Change doesn't have to be complicated. With a low-profile microwave hood combination that's ready to install right out of the box. It fits in the same space as your under-cabinet hood, so you can get your microwave off the countertop and make space for the routines worth keeping. The low-profile microwave hood combination, from the #1 selling appliance brand in the USA.
Whirlpool Appliances, now available at more furniture in Ephrata.
If certain state lawmakers have their way, then you might soon be getting taxed on the number of miles you drive every year. With the popularity of hybrid and electric vehicles growing and Washington's continuing efforts to support their use, fewer people are filling up at the pump, which is translating into a deficiency in the state's gas tax revenues. The ongoing shortfall is occurring despite the state's current tax of 49 cents per gallon, which is the second highest in the nation. Drivers in Washington are also charged an additional 18 cents per gallon in federal taxes. Money from the taxation is used to maintain the infrastructure of Washington's road system, including its highways, bridges, and ferries. The state has been considering a pay-per-mile tax structure for much of the current decade and recently went a step further in researching its potential implementation by signing up 2,000 motorists to take part in a year-long pilot program designed to track their use of the state's road network. The participants were provided with devices that interfaced with their car's operating system, which monitored their driving habits and miles driven. Neighboring Oregon has already instituted a program involving 5,000 of its driving residents, which charges them a per-mile tax in exchange for a credit on the state's fuel tax. Officials in Washington say the per-mile fee is planned to replace the state's gas tax, so drivers will not be charged both. The State Transportation Commission is currently in the process of organizing a pilot program similar to Oregon's, which could roll out as soon as next year. Reporting for iFIBER 1 News, I'm Chris Hansen.
This segment is brought to you by
Your taste buds bored? Well, then bring them to Jay's Teriyaki. Not only does Jay's have a variety of teriyaki dishes, they also offer mouth-watering salads and sides. Call Jay's 509-764-5155. Jay's Teriyaki, located at 123 East Broadway in Moses Lake, because it's all in the sauce.
Last season, the Moses Lake Chiefs baseball team was one inning away from placing in state. That's when the Wenatchee Panthers mounted a comeback to kick them out of the state tournament. This season, with only one state playoff berth available, the Panthers look to strike again, but the Chiefs refuse to allow that to happen. Moses Lake buried the Panthers, scoring 8 runs in the third inning to knock off its bitter rival in 5 innings, 11-1. The Panthers obliterated Davis the day prior, 16-2, but they had no answer for the Chiefs' Evan McLean, who allowed 4 hits but only 1 run through 5 innings.
We were preparing for war. We were ready to go all 7, but this score, we're gladly taking it. We just kept the same approach all season. We just knew we had to put the ball in play flawless defense, and the rest was going to take care of itself.
The Chiefs' slogan this season has been finished, since falling short to Wenatchee last year is what ended their season. It was sweet for the team to see that come full circle.
Feels a lot better. It feels a lot better doing it this way. Just kind of like staying focused on what we had to do, because we knew we had to get 3 outs right there. And I mean, even just giving them 1 run right there kind of made me a little bit mad. Just knowing that there's still that possibility that baseball's a weird game or anything can happen. So.
The Chiefs finished as league and district champs for the first time in years, as last year they finished second in the district tournament. The Chiefs will next play in the round of 16, which will be hosted by Richland High School next Saturday. Moses Lake will open with Hanford at 10 a.m., and if they win that game, they'll play again later that day at 4 p.m. against the winner of the Richland vs. Kent Lake or Curtis game. If the Chiefs survive both games next Saturday, they're guaranteed to place in state for the second time in school history. I'm Adam Chikoski for iFIBER 1 Sports.
1, 2, 3, finish!
The Moses Lake Chiefs softball team was able to sweep Eisenhower on Wednesday, so when it came to Friday's doubleheader with the West Valley of Yakima Rams, the Chiefs only needed to win 1 game to take the conference title. They ended up splitting with the Rams, which was enough to take home the league crown. The Chiefs won the first game after trailing 5-1 when they went off for 15 runs in the bottom of the 4th inning. The Rams had no answers and fell to the Chiefs 16-5 in 5 innings. The second game of the series didn't mean anything mathematically, but both teams played their hearts out. It turned into a sloppy game with errors aplenty for both teams, but the Rams did enough to win the shootout 13-12. Moses Lake finished with a 6-4 overall record and a 10-2 conference record, and another league championship to keep their long-running league championship streak alive. Catcher Larissa Martinez was a big part of the winning game, hitting 4 RBIs. She explained how it felt to be in the dugout during the 15-run inning and what the team expects in districts.
We have trust in each other that we'll score those runs, and even though we were behind, we knew that even though we were behind by 4, we knew we could do it. So and we're all pretty mad. I mean, no one likes to lose, so I'm pretty sure we'll be fine and we'll learn.
The Chiefs will skip the Big 9 play-in on Tuesday and will play in the semifinals on Friday. They'll host the winner between Wenatchee and Eisenhower, and should the Chiefs win that game, they'll turn around the next day and host the championship game exactly how the baseball team just did it this weekend. The Big 9 semifinals will be on Friday at 5 p.m. I'm Adam Chikoski for iFIBER 1 Sports.
This is iFIBER 1 News. For more information on these stories and other news, visit us online at iFiber1.com or check us out on Facebook.